Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS-Inform. We're meeting candidates running for city offices, and in this edition of WJTS-Inform, we're going to meet Alex Emmons. He is running for Jasper City Council. And Jasper, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill, for inviting me.
I think the first thing we want to know, Alex, is if you could just tell us, who is Alex Emmons?
I've been a resident of Jasper for over 25 years now. Moved here from Indianapolis when I took a position at Memorial Hospital. I grew up actually in Marion, Indiana, north of Indianapolis, and then after I graduated from Indiana University in Bloomington in 1969, I taught high school for a year, and then I had a position with Firestone Tire and Rubber Company in a retail management position. I moved from different stores in the suburbs and then also in a little town called Sterling, Illinois. In that time, I had joined the Air Force Reserves and was serving as a medic. I actually spent 30 years with the Air Force and retired as a Chief Master Sergeant back in 2002. But during the time as a medic, I learned about medical supplies, and I took a position in sales. So that job took me to Louisville, Kentucky. I was in the Chicago area first, then Louisville, and then to Indianapolis. But I had gotten into what I called the other side of the desk in purchasing, which gave me a career of almost 40 years doing that. But I was able to take a position at Memorial and have stayed here ever since because we just love the community. We raised 5 kids. 5 kids graduated from Jasper High School in the 90s. Most of them live in the area, have one son in Jasper and a granddaughter, and we have 11 other grandchildren throughout. So the 5 kids have provided us a nice heritage. So
Now, you sound like you're a busy guy. What made you decide to run for office for Jasper City Council at large?
I had considered running many times. I retired from the hospital 2 years ago. Okay. I was involved in politics all the way through, really in 1968, got deeply involved. But even as a kid, my dad would take me to the headquarters on every election days, party headquarters, and we'd watch all the results coming in. Back then, they were not electronic, and it was a long night, and it was a lot of fun. So I always had that kind of excitement. But I got into a position where I was very supportive of candidates and just worked behind the scenes. After I retired, I was still healthy and wanting to do something else. I'd been on the Utility Service Board for 10 years, so I've given back to the community. I've been a member of the Jasper Lions Club. It's a thought that our time on earth is really limited, and sometimes we need to give back to the community where we live. We need to serve. So I was happy when I was asked to be on the Utility Service Board. But we have 2 councilmen who had been in office for a long time and retired, Tom Schmidt and Ray Howard. I was never going to run against them. They were friends. I respected them, didn't want to run against them. When they retired, I saw it as an opening, and I didn't want to be in a position, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to do it, I need to do it now, and I'd like to continue to serve the citizens of Jasper. I ended up selecting the at-large position. We had some other candidates we were looking at I'm in District 4, so someone else is running there, but I just wanted to serve and give back a little bit to the community, and because we really my wife and I like Jasper, and we plan on staying here.
To make it a better place. Now, you are running at large. So that means, in the district where Alex lives, District 4, you'll vote for someone else, but you will still vote for at large there and in all of Jasper.
There are 2 at-large seats on the council. There are 4 of us running for those. Okay. So you are allowed to vote for 2, and that's one of the seats I would like to have.
Okay, now you would be on the Jasper City Council, and I know that there's issues now and in the future, and concerns now and in the future that would need to be addressed. How would you address those?
With a lot of thought and research, and looking at the issues, looking at what is the long-term impact, the short-term impact, and what that cost is. We've got a lot of things going on. The city needs to continue looking at its infrastructure. We're looking to attract new businesses, and I like the idea of new businesses, both small and large. We have to make it attractable not only for the business side to be economic viable for them, but for their employees as they attract new people to come in. One of the dearths we have is a lack of highly skilled jobs. And I know people that would like to move back to Jasper given the right job. And they're living elsewhere and they're just looking and said, I can't afford to do that now because the positions that are open are not going to give me what we need to have. So we need to increase that breadth of opportunities for Jasper. Now the question comes up, how much is that going to cost? We need to continue to plan for the future, but we need to be, in the term I use, I've been using throughout my campaign and identify myself as that, as being pragmatic. How much do we need to do now? How much can be planned on down the road? What does that cost? And how can we afford to do that? Because as we see in the news recently, the city and county budgets are limited in the dollars that they can have. We can only spend so much, and we need to make sure that we are spending wisely. Have a plan, have a business plan. I've been in, for 40 years in the hospital work that I was in. Almost all of my career, my annual evaluations were based around being in a budget, managing a budget. I think we need to do that as the city also. We do it at home. We only have so much money, and how are we going to spend it? And I think that's where we need to concentrate our, some of our focus is, can we afford to do this? Is it in budget? If it's okay, we do need to spend some money. We have some infrastructure problems. We need to be looking not only in attracting these businesses and doing some facelift things, but we got infrastructure, roads, storm sewers, and other things that we need to continue to maintain as these new people come in and new businesses come in, that we can serve them and all those little things that we take for granted day to day because they're there. We need to continue to rebuild and make sure we're investing in that side also.
Now, what is it that Alex Emmons would bring to the table, so to speak?
I think one of the things I do is I think with reason. There was a time, I think, as we all were in youth, that maybe we chased windmills and we had certain ideas and we just went passionately after those things, and that's great. But as I've grown in my career and working within the city, you have to take a step back and say, what is this and what is the impact, and have the reasoning and thinking to evaluate everything that comes to the table. I like to put new things on the table. Then what can we do? But my thought processes are such that I want to look at it critically and think of a way that we can do things, not as a way we don't do things. How can we make things happen? And I was blessed in my career. I had a staff that I worked with. We found ways to make things work. And that's what I think I bring to the table. Reason of thought, honest opinions, and find a way to make and continue to make the city of Jasper work and grow.
Right, now I'm going to let you talk right to the viewers. Tell them why they should vote for Alex Emmons for Jasper City Council at large.
Because much of what I said, I will continue to look at things and evaluate the pros, the cons, research it, make an honest vote, and continue to think about how much money we're spending, how do we spend that money, but still leaving the city in a building for the future, a city of destination for folks that want to come back, our high school kids that are going to college or going to schools outside, a reason for them to come back and live and raise their families here in Jasper. They may want to also open up businesses. I want the city to be a shining light in that. This is where I want to be. This is where I want my kids to go to school. This is where I want them to grow up.
All right, Alex, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Bill, and again, thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you for coming on, and we want to remind folks that you can be voting now with early voting all the way up to and including November 3rd. Make sure that you do take advantage of the privilege to vote here in the upcoming city elections, whatever city you happen to be voting in. Thanks to our guest, Alex Emmons. He is running for Jasper City Council at large.
And I will appreciate any and all of your votes.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for watching WJTS Inform. We're local people watching local people.